Hey everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video. I'm so thankful you're here. Thank you for joining me on this crazy ride of life. And yeah, I'm really super excited about these videos. We're going to talk about everything spiritual. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about plant medicine, spiritual awakenings, raising your vibration, healing. There's loads of good stuff to come, so stick along for the ride. For those who don't know me, my name is Andrew Lethbridge. I'm a Reiki master, an energy healer, an intuitive, empath. I'm a spiritual coach and I'm a student of life, and also I've got my own t-shirt range which I'm super proud of. I'm actually wearing my Galactic Federation t-shirt today, so all the t-shirts have got spiritual message. Inside the t-shirts there's like Reiki codes, and they're really thick, premium, 100% organic cotton, which has the same vibration as your body, and they're non-toxic prints. And then I Reiki infuse them with energy, love, good vibes, and every garment has a different intention and different energy, and everyone who wears them, I just have so many amazing stories, and yeah, it's super cool. So if you do like t-shirts, check them out on my website, and yeah, thank you. So what we're going to talk about today is spiritual awakenings. And before we start, if you do like this video, hit me a like, follow me, forward on to a friend who maybe is on a spiritual journey. That's be amazing. Also check me out on Instagram. Yeah, so I've made some notes here because there's a lot to talk about, and I want to keep it really tight for you guys. I don't want it to waffle off. So today's topic is spiritual awakenings. What is a spiritual awakening? Who has one? Does everyone have one? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they ugly? Let's do a deep dive. So I looked up the definition of a spiritual awakening today, and it said, for many, a spiritual awakening is a call to a higher consciousness and a state of deeper mental awareness. This process typically shifts your worldview, transforming you on a personal level and shifting your mindset. It can be called by different names: enlightenment, bliss, nirvana, epiphany. So that's quite a wide context of what we're talking about. And not everyone's spiritual awakening looks the same. Some people have little mini ones. And some people have just like a massive explosion. Mine was a massive explosion. Mine was epic and it changed my life. Some people call them a spiritual emergency. Yeah, so there is a lot to discuss on this. So my awakening happened in February the 4th, 2022. Basically, I was just in a period of life where I was just really unhappy. I had my own fashion company, and at one point I had 20 staff working for me, and it was just too much. And basically something inside was dying, and I was like, it was just too much stress, and yeah, it was just quite a toxic career. And in 2014, I was actually sick on and off for most of the year. My soul was telling me that I was just not in a good career for me, and yeah, I didn't listen. And basically I kept going to the doctor, and they was like, you've got chronic fatigue and you've got Crohn's and you've got colitis. And then I'd do the test and then I didn't have it. And yeah, it was really horrible situation. And some days I'd go to work for like 3/4 of a day and then come home and sleep, and I just felt really, really, really bad. And at one point I was like, have I got cancer? Have I got leukemia? It just wasn't really nourishing my soul. And I think for me, actually looking back, a little spiritual awakening I had actually was a few years ago, when actually I watched a film called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's by Dr. Stephen Greer, and it was actually about aliens, and it was actually a brilliant documentary. If anyone hasn't seen it, I think it's on Amazon free, so go check it out. And yeah, him and a group of people, it's called the CE5. They go to like different places outside, and they meditate together, and basically they call the aliens, and you could see the ships come and the lights, and it just totally blew my mind. And then there's a scene where someone's taking a picture, and you can see like an energy going around the group, and there was a guy who actually couldn't, I think he'd nearly lost his hearing, and then one night while they was there, something told him to get up and go outside, and basically he spoke to an alien, and actually they cured his hearing, which was unbelievable and amazing. And after I watched that, I remember it just opened my world up. I was like, oh my God, we're not the only people in the universe. And I remember telling loads of my friends, watch it, you have to watch this film. And he's got another film called Unacknowledged. And I remember I saw my friend Sally the day after I watched it, and we went for a walk, and she must have thought I was raving loony. I was like, there's aliens, and yeah, you need to watch it, and they come down and blah, blah, blah. And I could tell she's looking at me like, what the fuck is going on? So that was kind of a mini one. Then after that, it just expanded my consciousness that we're not the only people in the world. And actually I was like, we are super not that important as humans in this scheme of this universe that we think we are. So that probably happened maybe like 2-3 years ago, for maybe a few months or 6 months for my awakening. And then going back to February 2022, a customer had called me the night before and wanted me to do something really unreasonable, which was going to affect my factory. And I said no, but they was insistent. So they was like, I want you to call your factory in the morning and sort it out, and we want a yes in the morning. So that night, the night before, I did not sleep the whole night, and I was in horrible turmoil. And I was like, yeah, it was just not a good situation. And I was really worried about the phone call in the morning, because I had to speak to my factory, and then I had to speak to customer. And it was probably like 6 a.m. in the morning, and I went for a walk in the park, and it was like February, so it was like freezing, it was raining. I had my hood up in my puffer jacket, and I was like, oh my God, I hate my life. I hate my job. I can't do this anymore. I think I was like, I don't even want to be alive. And basically there's a tree that had fallen down in the park in London, near I live. And something in my head said, go and sit on that tree. And I was like, almost having an anxiety attack. And I was like, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I just can't take this anymore. It was like the most stress. The stress had been building over like the 20 years of my career. And it was just, yeah, it was pretty bad. So I ended up, I'm reliving the moment now. So I ended up going to sit on the tree. And then it was crazy. So basically, imagine I started to get visions that I was a statue, and basically my body then broke in half, and then literally, this sounds really crazy now I'm telling it, my soul shot up my body and started saying to me, I love you, I've always loved you, I'm always here for you, I'll always be there for you. And then my body flooded with love like I've never felt before. The only thing I can imagine is if you'd done like all the drugs in the world, it just like a physical explosion of love. I was like, it was shooting up my whole body. It felt like it exploded in my head, which now I understand was probably my kundalini rose up my body and basically exploded in my third eye. And then I couldn't see anything in the park. I was standing facing basically Source, which is God, and in front of Source, which is God, was my dad and Kat that had both died, just standing there smiling at me. And the only way I can explain Source is like, it's like a water full of light. It was swirling round, and it was like, I can't even tell you what colours. The colours were just like unbelievable. So it's like a water full of light. And it was just like, then I started to get like downloads into me. I felt my body go and all anxiety, stress, my mind in that moment changed forever. And then within the waterfall of light, I saw one drop. It's almost like, if that's like a waterfall, one drop of water drop out, and it went into my mum's stomach, and I saw it drop into her stomach. And basically that was Source saying to me, I'm God, you're God. your brother's God, your sister's God, your cat's God. We are all part of Source. And then I got a download on reincarnation. So when we die, that drop of Source, which is our soul, will then go back to Source and then reincarnate and repeat the process over again. And we all come here, and we need to all work through certain issues that we have. So it might be self-love, abandonment, confidence, and karma. So that's that was that. And it was unbelievable. And I've never felt like had that love in my whole entire life. It was just amazing. And I remember I stood up from the tree after it happened. I can't even tell you how long. It was like all time and space stood still. And I actually walked around the park, literally hysterically crying. If someone saw me, they probably thought that someone had died. But it was like, I was so happy. It was just like unbelievable. It was just like the best moment of my life. And I felt like my vibration rise like it's never done before. It was just amazing. And that anxiety about work and stress just went and disappeared. So I think what happened was the Kundalini rose up my body and exploded in my third eye, and that's why I started to get visions. So for days after that, I was literally on top of the world. It was like amazing. I remember I was in Starbucks, I think it was the day after, and I'd gone to get my hair cut, and I was waiting for my coffee, and I was like, felt like I was floating on air, and I was like, oh my God, I want to dance. And I didn't care. And it was like euphoria. It was like the year that I had my spiritual awakening was like the best year of my life. It was fucking amazing. And I remember the day when I got my hair cut, I come home and I turned some music on and I was dancing in my front room. And it was quite funny because it reminded me of a scene in Ab Fab when Patsy and Eddie, basically it looks like they're at a rave, and then Safi comes in and turns the light on and they're actually in a front room, and that's what it reminded me of. But when I was dancing, there was like 10 hands dancing. Like it was kind of like I was seeing the craziest things. My third eye was totally open. And it was almost like I had psychosis, but it wasn't. It was just epic. And then basically I started to get visions of like space and planets. And I remember one day, I think it was probably like 3 days afterwards, I was just laying on the sofa in like this position, like a fetus position. And basically I started to get visions and memories of being in my mum's stomach. So all these memories of things from my past had started to come flooding back. It was just amazing. Honestly, I wish this for all of you. It just changed my life, and it took me out of survival mode. It was incredible. And I think the week after, I was actually seeing, I think I always call him like a Buddhist mind coach, and I was having acupuncture, and obviously because I had a really stressful job, I used to see him probably like once a month, and we'd talk and we'd meditate, and he would just heal me. And I went in and told him, and basically we both got really teary, and he said to me, I've always wanted this for you. I didn't want to tell you this could happen, but he'd actually had 2 or 3 before. And I was like, why do people, no one talk about this? People need to talk about it. And I think, I just don't know why people don't talk about this. And then I think it was probably within the first month, I'd look up in the sky and I'd see these, and I don't even know how to describe it. They were like tubes coming down from the sky, like thousands of tubes with circles in. And they used to, first of all, I thought I had a float in my eye, and I was like, why am I starting to see it's almost like an energy cord coming down from the sky. It was like super a lot. But even though there was a lot going on, I was having visions and stuff like that. I was like so happy. It was like, I don't know, I was just loving it. And then what happened next? So within a month, I remember my hands started to feel really warm, and basically I remember I was in my bathroom, and I think I was like putting some body cream on, and I just eaten, and I was quite bloated, and my stomach, say it was like that, I touched my stomach and it went really like inwards, and I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking weird, what's going on? So I was like, I think I've got energy in my hands. So I said to my partner, can I put my hands in front of you? And he was like, oh my God, what are you doing? I can feel like your energy all over me. So then I FaceTimed a friend and I told her to close her eyes, and I just put my hands up to camera, and she was like, oh my God, I can feel your energy. What is going on? So I was like, oh my God, I've got energy. God has given me energy, healing energy. And then I said to her, I'll call you back normally on the phone. And she said, okay. So I called her back on the phone. And when we was just talking on the phone, I just closed my eyes and I just pretended that I was like still giving her energy and touching her head. And she was like, oh my God, I can still feel your energy. What are you doing? So I realized that I could control energy, even if I wasn't in the room with someone, which is like amazing. And then basically I started to heal my cat. My cat was epileptic. Some weeks he was having 3 or 4 fits a week, and it was like so stressful. So I started to heal him. And in the last year, he's probably had like 1 or 2 fits, but like mini ones. And as soon as he does, I'll just hold him, and then he'll just get up and walk and then like eat like a normal day. So that's just changed my life. It was amazing. And also, I just suddenly had a fox appear at my car every day. So I started to feed him, and one day he couldn't walk. So he let me hold his leg, and then I come back and I was like, I'm just going to heal him. So I went to a meditation and just visualized holding the fox's leg. And then the next day I saw him run down the road, and I was like, that can't be my fox, because he couldn't even put his leg down. So I went down to my car later on, and he was there running around, which I was like, oh my God, that's epic. And then a few weeks later, he actually turned up and couldn't open his eye. It was all swollen. So basically I sent him energy, and I obviously went back into meditation that day and just put so much energy into his eye. And then literally I saw him the next day and his eye was fine. So I was like, oh my God. So obviously then I trained in Reiki. And also, like, it was really weird because when I had my awakening, I started to remember loads of memories that has almost been locked in my mind. And yeah, some weird things happened as well. I remember waking up one day and there was like a pyramid over my bed, and it was from the corner, it was shooting down energy into my third eye. That was really trippy. And I remember one time I went to bed and I was about to fall asleep. I was just laying on the bed and I was about to close my eyes, and a portal in my room opened up, and this like fly of light, it was like this big, just flung out literally out the hole, and was going around my room. So I quickly ran into the front room, and my partner was like, oh, I thought you went to bed. And I was like, I think I'm going to sit here for a while. So even though there was some amazing things, there was also some stuff that I was like, WTF, what is going on? So yeah, so that was it. So overall though, it was an amazing experience. I would never change it. But there are positives and negatives for that, and not everyone has the same experience as me. I had a really big one. Some people have little ones. They don't always get gifts. I feel like I'd gone off my main path in life, and basically my spiritual awakening put me back on the path that I was meant to. So I'm just going to run through the positives and negatives about spiritual awakening. So if I start with the negatives are, obviously this was a lot if you're not grounded in life. You actually feel like you're going mad. Actually, funnily, a really good friend of mine had a spiritual awakening 2 months later, and she rang me and we were just on the phone, and I said, oh my God, I've got something to tell you. So I started to tell her about what happened on the tree, and actually I thought she was laughing. So I was like, are you laughing? And she was like, no, oh my God, I've had one. So she started to tell me about her experience where her soul started to speak to her. And she actually said to me, I'm so glad you told me this, because I was actually thinking about going to the doctors. I think I was having a nervous breakdown. I didn't know what was going on with me because all these things are happening to me. And yeah, so it can be really scary if you're on your own with no support network. Yeah, it can be really scary. Another thing, obviously, starting to see other dimensions, and yeah, it is a lot. And start having like seeing 10 arms after you go like that is a lot. But I was quite grounded at the time, and I was super happy, and it lifted me out of that really unhappiness in my life. It was, for me, it was really good. Also, when you have a spiritual awakening, your whole world actually can crumble around you. You fall out of alignment with friends. people that I was really good friends with last year, I'm not now. Unfortunately, sometimes you get out of alignment, you're just on totally different paths. And also you start to see truths, what you never saw before. And also you start making boundaries with people. So if people were taking advantage of you, you start to implement boundaries and then they really don't like it. So it kind of ends up in a very not good situation. Also, you can tell when people are lying. It's almost like you get a vibration of when people are lying to you. So that just really, like, you're like, why is this person lying when they say they're not? Also, you can become really obsessive about spirituality afterwards. I mean, it's all I could think about, like just seeing God, and my whole life changing and seeing dimensions and stuff was just incredible. And you can't just go back to normal life and be like, oh, I'm going to go to work now and sit in Starbucks. It's just, it unleashes. It's like your heart opens up and your soul, and yeah, and you just feel so disconnected from like the 3D life that everyone's leaving. You feel like no one understands you. You just feel like on a total different, it's almost like you feel literally in a different dimension to everyone. Thankfully for me, when I did tell people my story, it's so funny because actually I was really nervous to tell the tree story, but everyone I told, actually a lot of people actually got really emotional and they can feel the vibration of truth coming from me. I would never say that if it didn't happen. Like, why would I want to look like I'm mad? But yeah, so every time I told the story, I think it activated people as well, and gave them a greater understanding of life. There's more to life than what we see, which I've learned in the last 2 years. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any negatives. I feel like once you've had a spiritual awakening, any lies or untruths in your life just start to crumble. So if you're in a relationship that's not serving you, that will crumble. If you're in a job that is no longer serving you, that will also not happen going forward. You just can't live an untruth. And also it's really hard in relationships. I remember my partner, we'd been together like 20 years and it was a real struggle for them. Obviously you have a relationship like this and then I suddenly changed. I literally become a different person. My thought process was different. I was like, oh no, you do whatever you want. And then obviously they take that as that I didn't care, but it was just because I felt so free. I want everyone around me to be free and happy. So yeah, it's really hard, and my relationship nearly fell apart. But thankfully we worked through it, and yeah, it can be a lot. So yeah, just make sure if you do have an awakening, you've got your support network around you. There's always people around. Just send it out to the universe. I want people to support me. I want someone to teach me. I want someone to mentor me. There's so many people around. And then just going on to the positives, for me, it was like the best and happiest moment of my life. It freed me from my brain, my worry, my negative thoughts. Up to that point, I've always had body issues all my life. And to be honest, it released like 90% of my body issues. I was like, I don't give a fuck about anything anymore. It was like amazing. It opened my heart. I was really connecting with people. I attracted a new high vibe friends and tribe. And yeah, just people, really caring people. And yeah, it just gave me it just made me love life again. Also gave me a new understanding of life and the universe. I was totally in the now. There's that power, the book, The Power of Now. And Eckhart also had a spiritual awakening, and he wrote that book. He sat on a park bench for I think 6 months and then channeled that book out. And I totally understand that. But yeah, it took just being in the now, not worrying about the future, not worrying about the past. The old me would always be worrying about tomorrow, next week, the month after, and now I'm totally in every moment I'm in, and I'm just so happy. I would just wish this for everyone. yeah, and it just gives you so much understanding, and also got so much compassion. When you're in survival mode, you just think about yourself all the time, and like negative thoughts. And even though I was positive, also there was that underlining like negativity and like depression, and that's totally gone now. And I have so much compassion for everyone else. My heart is so open. I love myself for the first time in my life. The way I used to speak to myself in my head was literally really brutal. If I had a friend who spoke to me like that, I wouldn't have been friends with them. But yeah, I love myself now. It's just amazing. Like, I know I can do anything. You can do anything. We can all do anything. I'm enough. You're enough. We're all enough. Yeah, and just like sharing my story with people. Like when I told people, they got really emotional. Some people cried. It bonded me with other people. It just put me back on my path in life. And yeah, it was just amazing. So I just wish this all for you. And then also, if you've been awoken or you're on your spiritual journey, there was 2 books that were super helpful for me. One was called The Leap, which my mentor at the time told me to buy. And actually, super weirdly, even though I've never read this book, a lot of the stories are a bit like mine. Some of them, they saw source, some did, some didn't. And it's like, I didn't even know what source was. I didn't even know, like, I would say God, and I don't know if I believed in God. But after I had my thing, I was like, I saw source, even though I'd never heard that word referred to God as that. And in the book, everyone's like, I saw source, and they had the same, yeah, almost, you can't make up the same, everyone in the book can't make up the same story, even though you've never heard it before. So it's just, yeah, it was validating actually to read that book. And obviously some people's life did fall apart. So I felt super lucky. And also there's another book about Kundalini. I'm going to put these in the comments because they were super helpful. Yeah, so that's just kind of my story. And I just feel so blessed. And then, yeah, just my last final thoughts are, ultimately, we're all spirit. We've all got these activations inside. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. Even though I've got healing energy, I think everyone can get that. I believe that it's within all of us. Some people can channel, some people are psychic, some people got energy. I think literally we all have access to that. And I think if this is going to happen to you, it's going to happen to you. And it can be really scary at times, but just make sure you have a supporting network. And also you can go to the spiritualist church. You can find spiritual teachers. And also last year, I saw a transpersonal psychotherapist who was amazing, who helped me implement boundaries, because I was kind of like, oh, I love everyone. And then people taking advantage to me. So even though you honor everyone, it's also, you need to honor yourself. And it also, go and have Reiki, go and have energy work, go sound healing. There's like so many modalities can help you. Yeah, so that's kind of my experience. It was just amazing, and thank you for sharing that with me today. Yeah, and I just want to say, if you did enjoy this, like the video, follow me, forward it on to someone. Yeah, and I hope the vibration of what I'm saying is resonating with you guys. And yeah, stay connected, because I've got videos coming of my alien experience, which was like super, yeah, it was a lot. And the next video I'm going to do is actually on plant medicine, which is ayahuasca and San Pedro and psilocybin. And I'm going to tell you all about that, my experiences. Would I ever do it again? Have I even done it? So watch out for that. And I just want to say thank you once again. I appreciate you so much, and I'm sending so much love. And I just want you to know you are enough. You've always been enough, and you always will be enough. And a bit like when my soul told me, they love you, they will always be there for you, you will always be caught. And I just want you to know that I'm no special than anyone else. And if my soul's saying that to me, your soul is saying that to you. So I just want you to have a great day, and sending you so much love. Goodbye.